Well, it happened. One of my clients just got love bombed. So, this client of mine, she and I have only been working together for a couple of weeks. And right after we started working together, she met someone and she was saying that she really liked this guy, but she had some suspicions. And one of the suspicions was, again, she had just met this guy and he was going on and on about like all the vacations that they were going to take together because she loves to travel, and he was making all of these plans for things that they were going to do like next year and the year after, when again they had only known each other for a couple of weeks. And I told her that she should ask more questions, that she should not get offended, not get excited, keep her emotions very neutral, and just come from a place of curiosity and start asking him more questions about himself, about his background, and also why he was so eager to make these plans so far in advance. And sure enough, after a couple more weeks of getting to know this guy, she was already about to break off the relationship because the red flags were red flagging, right? And once he kind of saw that she wasn't going to take manipulation, she wasn't going to be manipulated easily, he wrote things off himself. So, we are talking more about how to avoid love bombing. Welcome to Confidently Cherished. My name is Keisha Rice. I am a dating coach and hypnotherapist. I help women learn how to heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns and to attract new, healthy, cherished relationships. So, we've already done a part 1 on how to avoid love bombing. Um, that video, if you're watching this on YouTube, that video was maybe 3 or 4 videos before this one. If you're listening to the podcast, it's probably 2 episodes before this one. So make sure that you watch part 1 on the things that you need to do in order to avoid love bombing. And love bombing, by the way, is basically a manipulation tactic. And what it involves a person when a person is overly affectionate, giving you too much attention. They give excessive compliments, excessive affection, excessive attention. And the idea is that this person does all of these things so that you fall in love, you fall head over heels really quickly, and then they use that to control you because they think that now they have you no matter what, you're not going to leave the relationship. And again, in the first video, part 1 of this, I talked about some of the things that you need to do to avoid that. A quick recap of that was, you know, pacing yourself, making sure you take your time to know the person in the relationship, and definitely taking your time to get physical in the relationship. You don't want to just, do that immediately, start having sex with someone, because then emotions get involved, hormones get involved, and you become hooked more quickly than you realize. And that will seriously cloud your judgment. You also want to set some boundaries. You want to trust your gut instinct. Again, with my client's case, from the beginning, things didn't feel right in this relationship, and she trusted that. She knew that something wasn't right in her gut and in her spirit, and she slowed things down. Again, she asked more questions and then decided that this relationship was not going to work for her. And also, you want to maintain your independence. You want to be at a place in which you desire a man, you desire partnership. You never want to find yourself in a situation in which you need someone, because once you find yourself in that position, it becomes so much easier for someone to control you. And that's the last thing that you want. So, those were the 4 things that we discussed in part 1. So, for part 2, there are 4 more things that you need to do to avoid love bombing. One is to watch out for manipulation, any type of common manipulation tactic. And love bombing in itself is a manipulation tactic, but also things like when someone tries to guilt trip you. So you say that you can't go out this weekend, and that person's like, oh, well, like, we don't get to spend enough time together. And I just really want to get to know you, and there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with me wanting to get to know you? Why can't you make more time for me? Why can't you clear your schedule, cancel plans, things like that, so that we can spend more time together? When someone is constantly trying to get you to change your mind, change your opinion, change plans in order to accommodate them, especially in the beginning of a relationship and you don't know them, that is a huge red flag. So you definitely want to watch for those types of manipulation tactics. Number two is to seek perspective. When you are in a relationship in which someone is love bombing you, one of the first things that they will try to do is isolate you. They will do everything that they can to get you away from your support circle. Even better if you don't have one. People who are more lonely in general are more primed to be controlled and manipulated and taken advantage of. And what I mean by that is if you don't have a great relationship with your family, with parents, siblings, and all that, you've gone low contact or no contact with them. If you don't have a lot of friends, if you are in a situation where you work alone a lot, so you work from home or you own your own business and you don't have a lot of employees and all, so you're pretty much working by yourself. And the reason for this is because if you are in situations like this, then you don't get a lot of outside perspective and outside opinions from other people because you're not talking to a lot of people all the time. And because of that, it is so much easier for a manipulator to get into your ear and to give you their opinions and feed you what they want you to hear because you're not getting other perspectives. So I understand if there were reasons why you had to go no contact or low contact with family. And I definitely understand in a post pandemic role being in careers where you're not spending a lot of time with other people. But this is why you want to, not just have romantic relationships, you want to focus on building up that friendship circle as well. You want to focus on also just getting outside perspectives in general. Now, I say this with a caveat because there's a lot of stupidity on social media, just a ton of it. But at the same time, there is something to be said for building a circle of trusted advice using TikTok, Instagram, podcasts, YouTube, all of that. Um, Finding people who are role models for you, people that give sound advice, people that you can look up to, people that you are inspired by, and then using that as also building a circle and having those voices in your ear. If you find yourself in a position where you don't spend a lot of time with a lot of other people, finding content creators who talk a lot about the signs of isolation and abuse in relationship can be very helpful so that you can hear what it is that you should be watching out for. So, because of that, you want to make sure that you always seek perspective. If you are in a relationship, if you're getting to know someone who is love bombing you, and by the way, this is not just romantic relationships, people can love bomb you in friendships as well. But if you are starting to get that vibe that somebody is way too pushy, coming on too strong, seek counsel, seek, a listening ear from other friends in your life, family members that you can trust. Um, Go online and look up what is love bombing. Watch other videos, in addition to this one and part one, but look up what these tactics are and evaluate. Am I being treated this way? Am I experiencing this? But always make sure you're getting those outside perspectives. Number three is look for consistency. One of the things that happens in relationships very often is when a relationship is unhealthy, there's a lot of chemistry in the form of chaos. It is a roller coaster. It's so passionate, it's so intense, and the emotions are highs and lows and highs and lows. That is not what you want. A healthy relationship should be a little bit boring because it's not that you don't love the person and care about the person and that you don't have any passion or any intimacy. You have those things, but at the same time, your emotions are not all over the place. It is more steady, it is more even keel. And when you are with someone who is inconsistent, so their emotions are all over the place, hot and cold, or their behaviors are hot and cold. One minute they're all over you, the next minute they go ghost, and then they come back and they're all over again. This is someone who is being very manipulative, and you don't want, nor do you need that in your life. So, you want to make sure that what you do is you seek consistency. You desire consistency in a relationship. And someone who can't give you that through their emotions and through their behaviors is not someone that you want to deal with in your life. And then the fourth thing is, it kind of piggybacks off of this, is to beware of too much intensity. I did a TikTok video about this recently where I was saying that you don't have crazy chemistry with this person. You're not digmatized, like the sex isn't like so off the charts great. The fact is that you are traumatized. So you might feel this insane chemistry with someone because your trauma has bonded to their trauma. And because you both have that, and neither of you have healed from that, that is why you have attached so hard and so intensely. That's all well and good until one of you decides to heal. And then once that happens, the two of you are no longer going to have anything in common. And then that relationship is going to fall apart. That is not what you want. You don't want to be bonded with someone over trauma. Then at the same time, this whole thing of I see women talking about being stigmatized. The sex is so good that they have to stay in the relationship, right? And oftentimes when a woman says that she feels that, it's not that this man is some great performer or whatever, is that you crave, you know, emotional intensity, emotional intimacy, and you are dealing with someone who is emotionally unavailable. So the only time you get that emotion, the only time you get that vulnerability with them is in the bedroom. And outside of that, you're not getting it at all, which is why the sex feels so great compared to the rest of the relationship, because that is the one moment where you truly have this person. You feel that they're present, they're there, they're vulnerable with you. You feel like they're more emotional with you. And then the other 23 hours and 10 minutes of the day, or 50 minutes of the day, um, you're not getting that at all. So then again, it makes the sex, talking about roller coasters, that is the top hill of the day, and everything is downhill from there. It's also not a relationship that you want to be in. And you don't want a ton of intensity at the beginning of a relationship in general, whether that is physical or even someone who's incredibly emotionally and conversationally intense. Anyone can be on their best behavior when you first meet them. I always tell my clients that when you are dating someone for the first 3 months of the relationship, you are not dating that person. You are dating their representative. You are dating the best version of them. And it is not until after that that you are going to start to see, more aspects of their personality. So, yes, well, I do think that a man who's truly interested in you is going to want to commit quickly. So, you definitely need to watch out for that. Someone who is hesitant to commit is not somebody that you want to be with. At the same time, just because they want to commit does not mean that you have to sleep with them right away, does not mean that you have to marry them right away, get engaged right away, any of that. You can acknowledge the fact that they care enough about you to commit and still want to take the time to get to know them. Because again, after that 3 months, you're going to start to notice all aspects of their personality. I always say before you marry someone, you should know them for at least a year because you want to get to know them in all seasons. So, literally, all seasons, there are 4 seasons in a year. But also, you want to see what this person is like when they are angry, when they are sad, when they are happy, when they are disappointed, when they are frustrated, when they're overjoyed. You want to experience this person in all of those emotions so that you know what you can expect going ahead in the future. And someone who is just right off the bat incredibly intense, first of all, they're likely to fizzle. It is going to go like a firework or a rocket. It's intense at first, and then it calms down and it slows down and it drops off a cliff, which is no fun to be in a relationship like that. But also, someone who is just so on, so intense, and who is love bombing is often doing that because they're afraid of what is going to happen when you see their true personality. So, again, these are the signs from both part one and this video, part two, that you need to do, or the things that you need to do to avoid being love bombed in a relationship. You want to make sure that you pace yourself. You want to make sure that you set some boundaries and that you expect those to be followed. You want to trust your instincts to maintain your independence in a relationship. You want to watch out for manipulation. You want to seek outside perspectives, have counsel from, family, friends, a coach, a therapist, any of those. You want to watch for consistency in the relationship, and you want to be aware and beware of a person who is too intense right off the bat. So, if you are currently getting out of a relationship and you need help healing from that, then my Ditch the Dead Weight journal is available right now. I will put that in, if you're watching this on YouTube, the description, if you're listening to the podcast, in the show notes. And it is 6 weeks to help you heal from a breakup. There's dozens of journal prompts in there, and going through those will help you gain so much perspective and help you not only begin the healing process from this breakup, but set yourself up to have better relationships in the future. And if there is something that you really got out of this podcast that you think would be helpful for someone else, be sure to both share this and also leave me a review on iTunes, because that is what allows other people to find this and to also gain their insights. And remember, sharing is caring. So I will talk to you soon. Love you so much. Bye.